My earliest memory is riding in my grandfather's boat, arm over the side, hand in the spray. I've spent much of the rest of my life chasing this feeling. All of that has led to this, the wooden boat experience. I'm Scott Odekirk. Join Speckles and I as we restore old boats, explore the Thousand Islands region of the St. Lawrence River, and generally just try to understand the magic of wooden boats. Here I am out in the 1967 Lyman, introducing this week's episode to you, and we're going to talk about the 1955 Chris Craft Sea Skiff 18-foot inboard that we're going to start restoring soon. We've already started, but the real stuff will start soon. And we're going to talk about that and the boat shed and our plans for both of them. So I hope you stick around and watch the rest of this episode of the Wooden Boat Experience. Here is where we started late this summer, an unused area of our garden that needed to be used for a boat shed. First, we cleaned the area up by mowing and moving all the, I don't know what you call it, but a bunch of junk that was sitting there. Then we brought in some heavy fill. We decided to use heavier equipment than what we have. Some jobs just demand it. Speckles was helping as well. Next, we brought in some bank run gravel to go on top of the heavy fill. We need this area dry in the spring. And then the bulldozer got started. Probably could have done this with my tractor, but there might not have been much left of it by the time we got finished. And here we have the finished base area. The next thing we're going to do is add a perimeter of recycled barn beams. To this, we're going to add a small hoop house in the back, 12 by 20, and then the gothic shed, 28 by 20 in the front. We'll also add some doors, possibly put canvas or greenhouse plastic on the roof, and crushed stone in the front area near the drive. Here I am removing from storage the 181 cubic inch CHEVY 4-cylinder Iron Duke engine. We may use this. This is the engine that came with the Sea Skiff when I got it, but we may put a 327 Chevy in as well. I'm not sure. This was a little fun project where I took the Chris Craft off of blocks in the storage shed and put it onto the trailer by myself. After pulling it out of the shed, I hooked it up to the Ranger and dragged it down to Alexandria Bay. You can see here that it needed some cleaning up still. In Alexandria Bay, I went to the car wash, ran through about $12 worth of quarters, and got the inside really clean. I'm going to be glad I did that later on. And then we arrived back home with the Chris Craft, awaiting the boat shed's completion so we can really get to work on this thing. I'd like to hear your opinion on what engine to put in. Some particulars on the use of the boat might help. I'm going to use this as a boat for hire, what some people call a six-pack boat, so it will have up to 6 passengers plus me. I'm looking for a top speed around 30 miles an hour and a normal cruising speed between 10 and 15 miles an hour. All right. For this week's boat name origin, we're going to stick close to home right here with the 1955 Chris Craft Sea Skiff that we've been talking about the whole episode. I bought this boat from some friends of mine that were moving out of town, couldn't take it with them. Didn't tell anybody else that I bought it. A few months later, I was at a party and somebody asked me, "Hey, what are you working on?" And I said, "Well, I'm working on this Chris Craft," and I told them my plans for it. And during that conversation, my wife came over and she said to me, "What boat are you talking about?" And I said, "The Chris Craft." And she said, "What Chris Craft?" And that's why the name on the back of this boat will be Unbeknownst. I'm glad you could join me. I'm Scott Odekirk, and this is the Wooden Boat Experience. Help us keep the Wooden Boat Experience commercial free by visiting our Patreon page. Thanks!